just finished The Women by Kristin Hannah. Let's talk about it. If you were a frequent flyer on Book Talk, you probably have heard of this book as well as Kristin Hannah, and rightfully so, because she is an absolute masterclass at writing historical fiction, and I must say that this book is no exception. Hannah is able to take a difficult topic such as the Vietnam War and weave an absolutely beautiful and nuanced story that I think few other people would be able to do. The Vietnam War in American history is a time of extremely difficult stories that deserve to be told, such as, the propaganda machine that was making us fight and lying to the American people about why we were there and what we were doing there, how many people were dying there, and the war crimes that the United States was committing, as well as how many Vietnamese people were being killed. Just the entirety of that situation, as well as the draft, it's all of it that just really complicates this history. Hannah does not shy away from any of it. She is able to weave a story with all of these difficult histories, and she does it extremely well. And she layers all of these together, and she also doesn't shy away from other things happening in the 60s, such as the civil rights movement, women's rights movements, things like that, abortion rights movements. She has discussions about all of these things in this book, and I know that that sounds like a lot, but none of it feels too much. She is able to manage all of these things and create a cohesive and beautifully told story about Frances, our main character, who is a surgical nurse that serves in Vietnam in part one of our story, and in part two she returns home and experiences the effects of having been at war, having the knowledge that the United States was lying to its population about what was going on over there, and she gets home and she struggles with things like PTSD, which delves her into things like alcoholism and drug abuse, and she does not get the help she deserves and is rightfully entitled to as a veteran because, quote unquote, there are no women that served in Vietnam, according to the VA. And so Hannah just does an amazing job talking about all of these hard topics together at once, and like I said, she does not shy away from any of them. She does a really beautiful job of weaving everything together. At no point did I feel like anything was too much, as I stated, and so I just really appreciate this story. I think that it is a beautifully engaging and dynamic and necessary story, and it is one that you should pick up if you want not only a good read, but also a read that helps you learn something about this time period. And I must say as well, this is my third Kristin Hannah book that I've read, and I think that I would rank it second. And shocking to you all, I probably would put The Nightingale at the bottom for me, and Four Winds is still at the top just because I think about that book a lot. That's another book that she weaves a lot of nuance and difficult histories into and just does an amazingly beautiful job. Maybe that's why The Nightingale didn't hit as hard for me, because there's very little nuance to the Nazis. That is a very different story. And so this story, it's hard to talk about the experiences that the Vietnamese people went through, that veterans went through when they came home, the help that they didn't receive, the lasting effects of Agent Orange, and yet Hannah is able to tackle it all into a cohesive and beautiful narrative. And like I said, I really encourage you to pick this one up if you want an engaging read, but also an informative one.